Next up tonight, we have the Noise Ordinance update, 3.2.2 and 3.2.3, and we will be going to Mark Walbrand with that. Good evening, sir.
Our ordinance code has a number of ordinances addressing noise going back to at least 1976, when an ordinance prohibiting store owners and building owners from using loudspeakers to broadcast out on the streets, and automobiles also broadcasting from the automobile. There was another ordinance that pretty much did the same thing, but it did provide for permits with certain conditions. Back in '92, we adopted an ordinance to regulate noise in public parks, and that's the first ordinance that we're dealing with tonight, an amendment to ordinance number 93 entitled Noise in Public Parks. This brings that ordinance up to date in a couple of ways. First of all, it includes the many parks that we've adopted or that we've established since 1992. It also includes a prohibition of making such nuisance noises, not just within the park, but within the 150 feet of the boundaries of the park. So a person it would be prohibited from making a noise that's prohibited in the park within 150 feet of the park as well, or half a football field, I guess you'd say. And the ordinance amendment also uses more modern language than is in the existing ordinance. The existing ordinance talks about radios and phonographs. Not so many people play loud phonographs in the parks any longer. And so the description of the audio amplification systems has been updated. One of the important things that the ordinance also does is that in the next ordinance I'm going to talk to you about, it expands the definition of nuisance to mean a noise that exceeds the decibel level of the Minnesota pollution control levels. And so the park ordinance includes any nuisance that is subject to our other larger noise ordinance, so that if there's a noise ordinance that's violating in the next ordinance I'm going to tell you about, it would be a violation here as well. Just think of it as if there's an ordinance that prohibits an activity outside of the park, it also would be a violation inside the park, if that's clear. Then finally, the noise in the parks ordinance does permit permits. The permit would be allowed for a person or an organization that wanted to have the use of a sound amplification system to use if they were having some type of activity there, and the city itself would not require a permit for itself, for ball games or the like. We'll likely develop a list of exclusions for requirements for the park, and I think there is somewhere, I think it's a $15 filing fee that's already on the books for that. So that's the first amendment to ordinance number 2501.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on that? And we will take these individually. So first I would look for motion to approve 25-01, 3.2.2.
So move.
Motion by Dan to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
By Dave. Any further discussion? This is being an ordinance. We'll ask for a roll call vote again, please.
Councilmember Voss.
Aye.
Dotson.
Aye.
Burbank.
Aye.
Wilkie.
Aye.
McCann.
Aye.
Svenby.
Aye.
And Rainey.
Aye.
All 7 ayes.
Thank you. The The second part of this is 3.2.3, 25-02. You've heard Mr. Walbrand's statements on that. Any questions on that? Doug?
Mark, I think we've gone over this a lot. I think I understand it, but just to be clear, this really makes it black and white for our enforcement people to have some ways to apply these rules. Is that fairly accurate?
Correct.
Which is helpful because they get put in a pretty tough spot sometimes.
I've been working with the chief on this, and
Okay.
we will come back with some minor changes for the final reading next time.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I'd look for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Brent to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Don. Any further discussion? It's another ordinance, so another roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Voss.
Aye.
Dotson.
Aye.
Burbank.
Aye.
Bogie.
Aye.
McCann.
Aye.
Svenby.
Aye.
And Rainey.
Aye.
All 7 ayes.
Thank you. We have one resolution tonight, 3.3.1. That was our only staff report. We are now up to public comments. Reminder, please limit comments to 2 minutes. Please approach the microphone, sign in, and state your name and address for the record after being acknowledged by Council President. Speakers will be limited to 2 minutes to deliver their comments. Councilmember Voss will be timing it. He will raise his hand at the 15-second remaining mark. And so we ask that you please finish your comments at that time. Those speaking are asked to conduct themselves in a respectful manner as they deliver their comments. Audience members are asked to refrain from reacting to comments. The City Council will not respond directly to comments in this venue or take any immediate action in response to those. With those, we'll open up to public comment.
Good evening. Melissa Zimmerman, 2525 Stony Creek Drive, here about the East Side Corridor. I never thought I'd know so much about noise, but here we are. Thank you for working so hard to amend our noise ordinance to protect all of our communities. Noise disrupts lives, whether it's in parks, around our homes, or from infrastructure projects like the East Side Corridor. As you consider these ordinance changes, please consider how noise will impact the North Country subdivision if the East Side Corridor is built at 29th Avenue. This neighborhood is a community, not just a stretch of road. Some homes sit just 17 feet from the right-of-way, exposing families to constant disruptive road noise. No one truly wants a noise wall, but our community is prepared to vote for that noise wall, as it's our only protection. It takes as few as 4 homes and at most 12 homes to vote yes to trigger the construction of a $2.3 million noise wall. Even WSB, the consultants on this project, have said they would vote for a noise wall if the road was built that close to their homes. This speaks volumes. There is a better way. The best choice remains 34th Avenue, a future forward location preserved for this road. Per emails now made public from the county engineer, the difference between 29th Avenue and 34th Avenue is minimal. Hundreds of residents have advocated for 34th Avenue both today and for past decades. The two-road option narrative was fabricated to counter the growing support of 34th Avenue. If we really want to do this twice, the hybrid option offers another way to protect our community from excessive noise. As you work to reduce noise disruptions, please consider the very real impacts the East Side Corridor will have on our homes and families. Thank you for protecting all communities from disruptive noise, whether in parks, in neighborhoods, or from infrastructure. Who knew noise could be such a problem? If you want a crash course on noise, I'm happy to share what I've learned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Gary Jones, 995 Ridge Road.
Good evening, Gary.
Good evening. How many times have you heard me start a meeting saying, I did a little research? Well, I did a little research. I wanted to look at surrounding cities to see if any of them had disc golf courses built on top of archery stands. The city of Rochester has 9 disc golf courses. 2 of them, named Driftless, are by the Game Haven Refuge. However, they are separated from the disc golf courses there by a 42-acre pond, 42-acre lake. So, not much danger from there. So here, we have 7 other courses. MLK, Slatterly, Armbruster, Rochester Technical College, Mayo High School, Mercy Hills Church, and Marion KOA. No hunting anywhere near the disc golf courses. In Faribault, they just hunted Riverbend Nature Center. Only 8 days, they didn't even hunt in 2024. Nothing by disc golf courses. Northfield has 2 disc golf courses, nothing by any hunting. Winona does not hunt on public lands. Owatonna is the only city in the area that I've run across that allows hunting right in the area where they also have disc golf. You would not even have to publicize on the website that there's an archery hunt within a dangerous distance of a disc golf course. Social media has already taken care of that for us. A beautiful October and November saw a drastic decline in disc golfers. I saw very few disc golfers at the Mineral Springs this fall. We need to stop hunting in Mineral Springs and make sure that it's clear on the website. I've heard Park and Rec state, don't worry, they shoot down. Well, shooting down at Mineral Springs is shooting in the vicinity of disc golf basket 8. Shooting down at Camplan's is shooting right at the bike path or right where my 2 daughters were standing in the last picture that I sent to you guys. This is why the Fat Tire bikers were so upset that my family was there without Blaze Orange on. They're riding right under the deer stands with hunters in them. We need to get proper distances between the archery hunt and park goer activities. Mineral Springs is too small and needs to be removed from the hunt. You set the stands farther back from the paths in disc golf and you run into homeowner backyards. Kaplan's is 224 acres, and you need to find other areas to hunt there where you do not have Fat Tire bikes riding right under deer stands. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak tonight?
Good evening. Judson Bartels, 1300 North Elm.
Good evening.
Good evening. A pastor and his young family got home from getting a new kitten, and as they got home, the kitten jumped from the arms of their little girl, runs up a tree. Not trying to get the kitty down, what they ended up doing, because the dad was very smart, he put a rope around the bumper of the car and then the other end of the rope up onto the tree and starts to pull the tree little by little with the car. And as they do, the tree starts to bend down, and just as they're trying to reach for the kitten that's stuck in the tree, the rope snaps, sending the kitten flying through the sky, never to be seen again. A couple of weeks later, the pastor is visiting one of the people that attends his church. And as he goes to the door, they say, "Pastor, come on in." As they do, he looks, and lo and behold, on the rug in the living room is a little kitten that looks mighty familiar. The pastor says to the family, "That kitten looks really familiar. Have you had her long?" They said, "Well, Pastor, you're never going to believe this. We've had her about 2 weeks now." He said, "Really, I'm interested how this came about." "Well, Pastor, we were in the backyard, and little Johnny says, 'Mommy, can we have a kitten?' And I said, 'Johnny, you're not getting a kitten.' I said, 'Please, Mommy, can't we have a kitten?' 'Johnny, you're not getting a kitten.' 'But please, Mommy.' He says, 'I'll tell you what, Johnny, we'll kneel right here in the garden and we'll pray. And if the Lord wants you to have a kitten, then he'll give you a kitten. Pastor, you'll never believe what happened next.'" The idea here is that the more that we pray, the more that what we call coincidences seem to happen. And so it's my ask here that the council would consider and the mayor would consider restoring pre-council meeting prayer to the city, because it benefits everybody and it hurts no one. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak tonight?
Hi, I'm Gail Jorgensen, 249 East Main Street, just down the street. And I'm going to go on the opposite of what he said. I am a Christian. I accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior when I was 3.5. I believe very, very strongly in this separation between religion, church, and state. That's what this country was founded on, the separation. I believe we can be Christians without having to pray publicly, like Pharisees. I believe it's by your works, how you conduct yourself, that people will know. I also believe by opening this up to public prayer, you're opening it up for many faiths, not just Christian. And I have seen in the city of Minneapolis a different faith, a different religion become very vocal, very strong politically. And I have seen them be very anti-Christian, very anti-gay. And I believe that if you open it up again for prayer before city council, you're bringing that religion and state together, and you're opening it up for other faiths that other people will not agree with. And then it's just a bigger problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else this evening? Seeing none, we will move on to council comment. And tonight we will start with Councilmember Voss.
Nothing to add tonight.
Dotson.
Nothing to add.
Mr. Burbank.
Nothing more.
Mr. Bulkey.
Nothing to add.
Mr. McCann.
Nothing. I do have a question for you, Kevin. How did the tour of the facilities here in the West Hills go as far as the community center?
The task force toured them last week. Wasn't as well attended as I would have liked, but I think we got a great insight as far as the challenges that we have, both from the city side and on the school district side in regards to the swimming pool up at the middle school.
Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that.
Mr. Svenby.
Nothing to add.
And I have nothing tonight. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Kevin. I just wanted to talk about a couple opportunities that I had since our last meeting. On January 28th and 29th, I had the opportunity to accompany Roger Wareheim to the MMUA legislative rally to help emphasize the needs and the wants of municipal power. We had a great meeting with Representative Sexton. He was very easy to talk to, very approachable, open to what we were talking about. So we had left with a very good feeling about that. And then last night I had the opportunity to go with Chris to the Firefighters Relief Association with Fire Chief Hoffman as well. It was encouraging. It was really great to see all the firefighters that were there and them being active and engaged in preparing and planning for their financial futures once they retire as firefighters.
Thank you. And City Administrator Busey.
Nothing from me.
With that, no other business before us, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion by Dan to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?